76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now.
Happy New Year! Woo! We made it. It is 2024. It is January 2nd. We know who the national championship game is going to be against. We have fall sports in full swing. We have spring sports about to start. We have NFL playoffs about to begin. David Tepper is making a fool out of himself. It is a new year! Well, that last one, actually, as much as things change, things stay the same. Isn't that the saying or something like that? Boy, oh boy, David Tepper, do I have some things to say about you. I hope you're listening, because I think I can help you, guide you back into the path of being looked at favorably upon by Panthers fans, by us Panthers fans here in the greater Lake Norman area. But that's what we got for you on store today. NFL, college football. We have our bowl game or our national championship lined up. We had Florida State make an absolute mockery of the bowls. Oh, man, it was a fun break. Let's see, what else? NHL, we had the Winter Classic out in Seattle. We had a new losing streak record in the NBA as one team has lost 28 consecutive games. The Hornets are on their way to tying that and maybe breaking it. They got a long way to go, though, but they are losing. And then we also have our high school basketball. As we said, we're going to be keeping an eye on all of that as we move through the new year into spring. And, well, basketball playoffs start at the end of February, but we are going to make sure that you are up to date. You know everything going on. You know where these schools stand and who is having good years. So without further ado, after all of the tournaments over the break, we're going to start talking about high school basketball, get you caught up on these records. We start, as always, in the Lake Norman area with Mooresville High School. They unfortunately lost a couple of games during our break over here. Their record now sitting at 8-4. Their next game on the road, they take on Hickory Ridge. And the good thing about the new year, with the new year comes all conference games. That's right. Pretty much every one of these schools are going to be playing conference games for the rest of the season. Mooresville starts on the 5th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. If you get that. Props to you if you get that. On the 5th against Hickory Ridge. They're on the road. Game time in that one, 7:30. Lake Norman suffered their first loss of the season during the holiday break. They lost 72-71 to Weddington. Oh, that was a close game, but they couldn't pull it off. And then they went and beat Davidson Day by a score of 76-64, doing quite better in that one. The champion was the Burlington School Spartans. They beat Weddington 69-63. Lake Norman, as I said, they fell to Weddington. That was the semifinal game, and unfortunately, they weren't able to get that title this year. But a good showing nonetheless. Their record right now sitting really well, actually, to start this season. 11-1. Conference play also beginning for them starting the 5th. They take on A.L. Brown at home at 7:30. We also had Statesville High School participating in some tournament games. Unfortunately for Statesville, with those games starting to rack up on their season, they are not winning more than they are losing. Actually playing .500 basketball in their last 4 games, 3 games that they had in the tournament over the break, 2 wins. So congratulations to them getting on the right track, looking to ride that momentum into the new year. They actually have one more game that is non-conference. They are on the road against Granite. I can't say this one. I can never say this one. Garinger High School. That game's tomorrow at 7:30. And then starting on the 5th, East Lincoln on the road. That is a conference game. And I think the reason they have this one is because of the slow start that they had to their season. They haven't had that many non-conference games yet. So they got to get these done before they get into their conference schedule. West Iredell also starts their conference play soon, starting on the 5th on the road against Ford High School. They will be taking that game on the 5th, 8 o'clock start time, and it is their second conference game. Currently 0-1 in conference is West Iredell. Before we had our holiday break and our holiday tournaments and games and that, they played St. Stephen's on the road. That was back on December 20th, losing that one 81-59. But on the 5th, all of these games taking place on Friday. High school basketball, full swing once we get into the new year. It always happens that way. Looking ahead also to North Iredell, they've gotten things righted just a little bit here. They were having a really tough start to their season, but during the break, they were able to get quite a few wins, upping their record to 5-6. They have had a conference game already, as they took on Ford on the 20th, right before we took our holiday break, winning that game actually 65-57. So right now, North Iredell 1-0 in their conference. Their next game against St. Stephen's at 7:30. That game on Friday. And last but not least, probably the school that has had the toughest start to the season in the area. That is South Iredell High School. 2-10 to start the year. Not a great way to go about things at all. A win against West Iredell during tournament play was really nice to see, but they got to start stringing together some wins. They won their 3rd game of the year, and then they lost quite a few games in a row before they got that second win on the season. So we'll see. Maybe they turn it around. New year, new team, all that fun stuff. Looking to take on West Cabarrus tomorrow. This is one of the few schools that does not have a game on Friday. South Iredell plays tomorrow. They are at home against West Cabarrus at 8 o'clock. That is their first conference game of the season. So we are back in full swing with covering these high school basketball games. We'll make sure to bring you through all the way to the playoffs, all the way until we crown our state champions. Stay with me. It is the first show back from the new year, so we have quite a bit to go over. I don't know if we're going to have time. I'm going to try my best to get everything done. But I can't make any promises. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL. We are going to talk about David Tepper. Naughty, naughty, naughty. He was definitely on the naughty list. Actually, he's going to be on the naughty list for next year, because this happened a few days ago after Christmas. Stay tuned. All you can do is sigh. You're listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. We're back after this.
There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Happy New Year, WSIC family. Here's your WSIC community calendar. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show this Saturday at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Some of the upcoming Kane Center performances include Rocky Lynn, Forever Young, Jeff Allen, and even a Stunt Dogs experience. To see the entire lineup and to purchase your tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. This is the last week of the season to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time. Speedway Christmas is happening daily until Sunday. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The fun ends Sunday. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
We'll continue with a clear sky for the rest of our Tuesday, but getting cold tonight as temperatures drop back down into the mid and upper 20s with a few high clouds building in after midnight. Heading into our Wednesday, we'll start with some sunshine, but clouds thicken up as we work our way through our Wednesday afternoon. A sprinkle or a stray shower not out of the question, but highs on Wednesday still chilly, topping out in the upper 40s to near 50. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hello, friends. This is Dwight with Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, inviting you to join the Gullion family and staff in praising the Lord for 30 years of providing you with trustworthy and inspiring books, Bibles, music, gifts, and supplies. We so appreciate your support and friendship over all these years. With locations in King and Statesville, North Carolina, visit us again soon for encouraging fellowship and essential provisions for your Christian life. Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, where the Bible stands.
Now, more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, everyone. We are back. It is segment number 2 on the new year. I forgot my normal intro, the way I always do it every show. You're listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM, streaming video live as always to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, and you can call in 704-873-1400 if you have something you'd like to talk about, anything at all. I'm here for you. We're going to start this segment by just saying one thing. David Tepper. That's all we have to say for now. For now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Google. You could play along at home if you'd like. Go to Google, google.com, type in David Tepper, and just click on news. Let's just read some of these headlines. We're not even going to read what happened. We're just going to read the headlines. As David Tepper reminds us all, sports has an ownership problem. David Tepper's apparent drink tantrum says a whole lot about his Panthers tenure in one inexcusable gesture. Panthers owner David Tepper needs someone to tell him some hard truths. David Tepper could face fine, suspension for fan incident. David Tepper throwing a drink is a pathetic look for the NFL. If you haven't been able to tell, something did happen. Something happened with David Tepper at the game against the Jaguars in Jacksonville, might I add. The Panthers, as we all know, got blanked. Terrible game. Looked absolutely horrible. 26-0 with a backup quarterback for Jacksonville, might I add. Might I just add that? And in his frustration, David Tepper threw a drink from his press box or suite box, whatever it's called, at a fan sitting in the stands. And it was all caught on camera. What are you doing, man? Like, honestly, what are you doing? You have done nothing but pretty much fail since you got here. And I'm not trying to be harsh, okay? Let's look at this. 7-9 the first year as the Panthers owner. Okay. Then 5-11. So you get rid of Rivera. Okay? Sure. Now you put your mark on the team. You hire Matt Rule. And the next year, well, 5-11 again. But that's okay. First year as head coach there. Give him some time. The year after that, extra game in the NFL. Still only 5 wins. 5-12. And then last year, off to a terrible start. So you fire Matt Rule, and then all of a sudden, Steve Wilkes is able to bring some life to the team. All of a sudden, 7-10, second in the NFC South. All right. And then you get to this year. Frank Reich hired as the head coach after what Wilkes was able to do as the interim head coach. Terrible start to the year. Haven't won a game since they played the Texans. And you fire your head coach again. And you don't have your number 1 overall pick. And you don't have your number 1 receiver anymore. And, well, now it's starting to come out that Frank Reich didn't like working with you. And now people are starting to see that you have your hands in the pot. You think you know better than the football people. And now we have a problem. Now we have a legitimate problem on our hands. Because at 2 wins, the Panthers clinched the number 1 overall pick last week. Wonderful. They get to jumpstart their franchise with a franchise-changing player. Nope. Because David Tepper was so stuck on getting Bryce Young that he gave up the future for a player who, granted, he has talent. He does have talent. He has no talent around him. This isn't basketball. One player cannot turn your entire team around. It is more than basketball. It is a much bigger team game than basketball. And yet here we are with no assets, a second-round pick to our name, no number 1 overall pick. The Bears have it. And now you have your owner throwing drinks at fans. What did you think was going to happen this year? Did you think it was going to be better than last year? I kind of did. I got sucked into it. I thought it was going to be a better year. But no, there's no talent on it. The offense stinks. Your draft picks are terrible. Your top draft picks can't stay on the field. It's a recipe for disaster. And it would be disastrous enough if they had their first overall pick. But they don't even have that. So now where do you build? Where do you begin to rebuild? Free agency? You're going to tell me that a free agent in the NFL, who's a lot smarter than you think they are, is going to see this situation in Carolina and go, that's where I want to be. I want to be there. I want to be somewhere where the owner has his hands in the pot, where the people that are hired to do their jobs aren't allowed to do their jobs, and the owner gets angry and apparently is one of the most patient men in America. Although he's so impatient, he's throwing drinks at fans at an opposing stadium. This is an embarrassment. It is top class embarrassment. And in the past few minutes, since we've started this rant, it has come in. We finally hear from the NFL. Finally. This happened on Sunday. It's Tuesday. We haven't heard anything from the NFL. Nothing from David Tepper. No apology. No apology right away? What are you... This from Adam Schefter. The National Football League said it fined Carolina Panthers chairman David Tepper $300,000 for his unacceptable conduct in Jacksonville during Sunday's game. All NFL personnel are expected to conduct themselves at all times in ways that respect our fans and favorably reflect on their team and the NFL. That's it. That's all he got. $300,000 to a billionaire. A billionaire with a B got fined $300,000. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. David Tepper, 31-67 since he became the owner of the Panthers. Turmoil, controversy. There's nothing else to say. All I have to say is strap in, guys. It's going to be a long ride with this one. It's going to be a very long ride. And I promise you this, he could throw a drink at a fan once a year if he wants. He's not going to lose his team. We saw what happened with Washington over the past couple of years. The owners didn't make him sell his team. He who shall not be named anymore, considering he's not associated with the Commanders. But it's going to take a lot for this man to be forced out of power here. And because of that, it's going to be a long ownership tenure. We see it all the time. Owners who think they know better, think they know best. Owners who made their money being businessmen, not football people, thinking that they, as a fan, know better than the people hired to do their job. And look, I'm not claiming that I could do any better, okay? I'm just a guy behind a microphone, right? But he had the money. He bought the team. He hired people. Why did you hire people? Huh? And I know we're talking about stuff from last year and the draft, but this is a snowball effect. And it has been snowballing for years now. There is absolutely no direction in Carolina. There is no leadership in Carolina. I don't know where this team goes. There's bad, and then there's so bad that it's going to take decades to get out of the hole. I don't care how many talented players you get. I don't care how many times you go to the playoffs as a wild card team. If it's not all clicking, you are not going to win. And that's where we find ourselves with the Panthers now. And this feels like an incident that is going to be hard for David Tepper to get the fans back on his side, because it's going to take a lot from me. I'm just telling you personally, I'm not happy, embarrassed. These words, they can't even begin to tell you how terrible of a situation this is, how horrible it is for the NFL, and how poorly it reflects on Charlotte and North Carolina and this area, and it's just terrible. And look, let's just be glad that there's one more game in the season, and then the Panthers can go by the wayside, because that's probably the best thing that could happen to them right now. And then we'll be able to talk about it again when the Bears are drafting first overall. We're saying, wait a second, the Panthers should be there. One more segment here on the Scoreboard. Stay with me. We're back after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Bunch Johnson Funeral Home. Find us at dignitymemorial.com.
We'll continue with a clear sky for the rest of our Tuesday, beginning cold tonight as temperatures drop back down into the mid and upper 20s with a few high clouds building in after midnight. Heading into our Wednesday, we'll start with some sunshine, but clouds thicken up as we work our way through our Wednesday afternoon. A sprinkle or a stray shower not out of the question, but highs on Wednesday still chilly, topping out in the upper 40s to near 50. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-989-1754. 800-989-1754. 800-989-1754. That's 800-989-1754. Paid for by Term Direct.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-556-2974. 800-556-2974.
Spoiler alert. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
Carolina closes the regular season this coming weekend against Tampa, and it's a chance to exact revenge. Last year, when the Panthers played the Bucs in Week 17, Tampa and Tom Brady rallied in the fourth quarter for a victory. It ended Carolina's chance at a division title. Now it's the Bucs who are in the driver's seat in the NFC South, needing a win for a chance at a division title, and it's the Panthers and Deion Jones looking to play spoiler.
It's a division opponent. Like, we got to make our message and, put our foot down on it. Like, we got to go out there and treat it just like, we got a chance to go in the playoffs and get this win and end this on a positive note. So the same approach that we would have took in the first game of the season, we got to take that same approach on this last one.
Jones says it's imperative for he and his teammates to keep their focus for the regular season finale.
Just stay locked in. We got, a couple more days left, and we can't think about that. We got to lock in and basically gel together and get this win and get out of here with a dub on a positive note. Right now, we got to stay together and finish strong. Right now, we need to definitely, wrap our arms around each other and be a family and work on the focus on more of the relationships, and then go out there this last week and, put one more display on the field together.
I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update brought to you by Morris Jenkins.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We are here, halfway point. I think I said that there's one segment left. There's two segments. I'm not going to short you. We got 2 segments. Call in 704-873-1400 if you have something you'd like to talk about. Are you fired up about David Tepper? I want to know. I want to hear your opinion. Let me know, because I'm not happy. There's actually a lot of stuff. Now that I think about it, when I was going through my prep for this show, I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not happy about today. We're coming into the new year with some animosity towards these sports leagues. It happens. Let's talk about the next thing that I'm upset about, right? Why not? We might as well lead into it. How about the NFL officiating this year? What in the world was that mess we saw on Saturday night between the Cowboys and the Lions? Is that even okay? Like, boy, oh boy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a situation where the Lions came down the field. They scored to potentially tie the game against the Cowboys. If they kicked the extra point, they would have tied the game. If they go for 2 and make it, they potentially win with such little time on the clock. Well, the Lions decided to go for 2. Dan Campbell strapping them on again and saying, you know what, we're going to go for it. And it worked. They got the 2-point conversion on a beautifully designed play. The only problem is it was caught by a player who had to report eligible. Okay, not a problem as long as you go report eligible, which he did. There is clear video footage of this player going to report as an eligible receiver. And what did the officials do? They messed it up. They reported the wrong player as eligible. An illegal touching was called. The Lions decided to continue trying to go for 2. They did not get it. And the Cowboys stole a win. Horrible. Just horrible. I mean, the NFL officiating this year has been so bad. It feels like the only thing that people can talk about. And I'll tell you what, the reason why it's so on top of everyone's minds, betting, sports gambling, 100%. Because of the money on these games, officiating has become scrutinized like you wouldn't believe. And here we are on yet another day after an NFL weekend where we're saying, and you know what? Saying that, I understand what Patrick Mahomes was talking about when he came off of the field against the Buffalo Bills after horrible officiating. Now, granted, that was the correct call, but he is right in the sense that it's another week and we're talking about officiating changing the outcomes of games. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. It's not reviewing everything. It's not making nothing reviewable because in today's day and age, we all have these massive high definition televisions where we can clearly see on 100 times slowed footage whether or not somebody's foot was in bounds or not. These referees have to do it in real time. So do we have like dummy officials out there and say, you know what, they're going to make a call, but then the real call is going to come down from the booth? I don't know if that's the solution. It's a fast-paced game. I'm open to ideas at this point because I've thought about this and I don't know how to fix it. You're always going to have errors in officiating. There's just no way to get all of the calls right. It's not going to happen. But right now, it's all that we can talk about. And it trickles down. It does. You see these terrible calls in college. It's not just the NFL. It's not just football. You know, one of the most argued is balls and strikes in baseball. They're trying to get robot umpires. A robotic strike zone. Something to help these guys out. Which is a whole different discussion. We're not going to even touch that today. But this is the NFL. And the NFL is the number 1 sports league in the U.S. All eyes are on you. And this is the product that you're putting out there. It's so bad that this officiating crew has been banned from the playoffs. They're not allowed to officiate a playoff game. So the NFL knows. They're like, what are you guys doing? This is easy stuff. Report the correct player as an eligible receiver. I mean, this... What else are we upset about today? Let's just keep talking about things that we're upset about. I'm upset about college football. I mean, look, we had some wonderful semifinal games. And I think that the second game, Texas and Washington, was the better game in my opinion, just because it wasn't Alabama. It wasn't Georgia. My favorite part of this year's national championship, no SEC team. Thank you. That is wonderful. Thank goodness. What else? Oh, we're just firing off right now. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Georgia, Florida State. Georgia, the 6 seed, Florida State, the 5 seed. Georgia put up 35 points in the second quarter. 35 points in the second quarter. And they beat Florida State 63-3. Florida State wasn't trying. They didn't put anybody on the field. Nobody. The bowl game, who cares? It's a New Year's bowl game, and they treated it like it was a spring game. That is the middle finger that the NCAA needed. It really is, because that was embarrassing. And I am on Florida State's side. I'm also on Georgia's side at this point. Like, you're telling me that a close neutral site loss to Alabama was enough for Alabama to go from 8-4 and for Georgia to drop to 6? These bowl games need to mean nothing. They do. And I think all of this, and I'm going to continue to get excited with all the anger that's built up in me right now. I'm going to continue to get excited because I'm telling you, in a few years, it's going to be like, you're going to have maybe the quarterfinals and the semifinals will be bowl games. And that's it. Because you're going to have a 16-team playoff, or however they want to do it. You're not going to have Alabama playing Chattanooga anymore, because Chattanooga will be in a different league. There will be no more layup games, which is one of the stupidest things about college football. Yeah, you know what? Why not, Michigan? Go play Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, sure. I feel like this was this show was not supposed to go this way today. This was supposed to be a nice welcome back from the new year. And then we started talking about all this stuff that just needs to be fixed in sports. It just does. It's just, We're coming up on our final break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about hockey. Hey, Carolina Hurricanes are looking better. 3 games in a row. They play the Metro leading New York Rangers tonight, right after the show at 7 o'clock. Things are looking on the up. Still need to get a goaltender, though. This isn't playoff hockey yet. This is regular season hockey. We need to get a goaltender. We'll wait for that moment to come. But they do look better. The Hornets continue to look worse and worse every single day. We're not going to really touch on that too much. But when we come back from break, I do want to talk a little bit about the semifinal games, and then we'll get into hockey if we have time. We just kind of went off on a rant here today. We're upset. Things don't make sense. Nobody uses their brains. It's really not good. Stay with me here on the Scoreboard on WSIC. We're back right after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Happy New Year, WSIC family! Here's your WSIC community calendar. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show this Saturday at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Some of the upcoming Kane Center performances include Rocky Lynn, Forever Young, Jeff Allen, and even a Stunt Dogs experience. To see the entire lineup and to purchase your tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. This is the last week of the season to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time. Speedway Christmas is happening daily until Sunday. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The fun ends Sunday. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
We'll continue with a clear sky for the rest of our Tuesday, beginning cold tonight as temperatures drop back down into the mid and upper 20s with a few high clouds building in after midnight. Heading into our Wednesday, we'll start with some sunshine, but clouds thicken up as we work our way through our Wednesday afternoon. A sprinkle or a stray shower not out of the question, but highs on Wednesday still chilly, topping out in the upper 40s to near 50. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
That's right, folks. We have flipped the calendar. 2024 is here. Happy New Year from Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. Come see us this year for all your car needs, whether it's a new Ford, a new Lincoln, quality pre-owned. Randy Marion Ford in Statesville, we have got you covered. I-77 exit 49B. Look for the spinning car, folks, because that is where the deals are.
RandyMarionFord.com. Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's The Scoreboard on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
"47 days. We are 47 days away from the Daytona 500. I just thought you might want to know as we head into this new year. We're getting there. The week after the Super Bowl. That means we're only 40 days away from the Super Bowl. And we have one more week in the regular season. It's going to be a wonderful week. A lot of teams still eligible to make the playoffs. A lot of teams still eligible to have their hearts broken. Woo! All right. College football semifinals. Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. I'm going to just quickly touch on this because we did talk about the playoffs a little bit already. Number one, the biggest takeaway for me, there were two big takeaways, both by the winning teams. Number one, boy, oh boy, is Michael Penix fun to watch. He's a lot of fun to watch. 400 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Southpaw. All the good stuff. And number two, Michigan does know how to play from behind. Michigan is capable of making a comeback and fighting tooth and nail. And I know they've had close games. I get it. But that was a big showing by Michigan after losing last year in the semis, after watching Alabama just roll through the playoffs all these years. You know, you see Alabama with the lead late in the fourth quarter, and you just kind of assume, okay, Alabama's just going to win this game, aren't they? Nope. J.J. McCarthy had other things to say about that. I thought it was awesome. He was talking about hockey and superstitions and not touching roses before the game because he was superstitious about it. I thought that was a pretty cool little interview there after the game. But J.J. McCarthy throws for 3 touchdowns in that game, propels Michigan. And it was Blake Corum who was the most important player, in my opinion. He's always been their most important player. He's a heck of a running back, as he went 19 for 83 and a touchdown, including that beautiful 21-yarder in overtime to not seal the game, but to give Michigan the lead. And then the final play with Jalen Milroe just running straight ahead. I don't know if I like the call, honestly. It was basically a 2-point conversion, okay? And plays like that, I'm more of a fan of, and I think you have a better chance if you spread everything out and let the quarterback actually make a decision. You know, calling a designed run, calling a designed pass, I don't know. I think we would see a lot more success on these plays if you saw coordinators say, you know what, every time we get in this situation, we're going to move the pocket. We're going to do a bootleg. We're going to do rolling pocket right, rolling pocket left, whatever we got to do. I think creating movement on that goal line is something that is something that coaches need to consider more, because there's too many times you just see, unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you can just push your way into the Super Bowl. I mean, although they lost to the Cardinals, what was that all about? But, you know, those 2-point conversion plays, they need to be rethought, because just running your quarterback straight up the middle, not many options with that one. It's usually, in my opinion, especially in that situation, going to get blown up. So we see Michigan move to the national championship, and in the other bracket, man, what a comeback for Texas as they tried to mount that one late in the game, down to the final second of the game. They had to put a second back on the clock to run one more play. And if you want to be really nitpicky, they should have put 2 seconds back on the clock, but it didn't matter. You're not going to run a play in a second and then get another play. It's just more for looks at that point. But Washington moving on, Texas unable to win, and we'll see what Cam Ewers decides to do with his future, as they do have a quarterback in waiting there at Texas. I don't know if you heard of a guy by the name of Arch Manning. Yeah, he's at Texas. He was sitting behind all year. I want Cam Ewers to come back. I just do. I think it would be so funny to say, you know what, I'm just going to come back. Like, what is the quarterback situation going to be then? Do you make him sit another year? I don't know. So on Monday, January 8th at 7:30, we will all get to watch from NRG Stadium, Washington taking on Michigan, 2 14-0 teams. And honestly, it would have been a little upsetting if we saw a 13-1 team in the championship game, or 13-1 team in the championship game, when there was an undefeated team, an undefeated Power 5 team. Because I know everybody loves the Power 5 word to get left out of the playoffs. Next year is going to be so much more fun when we're arguing about who got dropped from the 12 seed. It's going to be no different. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you can believe me or not. It's, instead of arguing over who's 4th and 5th, we're going to argue over who's 10th, 11th, and 12th. It's going to be no different. But it will eventually change. All right, let's get to hockey. Because the Carolina Hurricanes are actually looking pretty good here recently. I'm not going to declare them back. I'm not going to declare them as a favorite by any stretch of the imagination, because they are 20-13. 20-13-4 to be exact. They do have those 4 overtime losses. But the Hurricanes have 44 points, and the Rangers, who are ahead of them, have 51. So there's still 7 points behind the Rangers to top the Metro. And behind them, they still have the Flyers and the Islanders, all with one less game played. Both of those teams 1 point behind the Hurricanes. And then we got to go a little bit before we get to the Capitals, the Penguins, and the Devils. All three of those teams are tied, but still tightest division in hockey. Maybe not the best division in hockey at this point. Last year they were up there. The year before they were definitely the best division in hockey, but definitely the closest. As right now, 2nd and 7th are separated by 4 points. That's it. Carolina in 2nd has 44 points. The Penguins in 7th have 40 points. Whew, boy, that is, I'll tell you what, that's really something to consider here when you're looking at not only the division, but the wild card also, because we have to worry about the Atlantic in the wild card. And as close as the Metro is, right now, the wild card does go to the Metro if the season ended today. But Tampa Bay is right there. Detroit is right there. These teams can sneak in and steal one of the wild cards away from the Metro. They might steal both wild cards. Although right now, the 2 wild card teams would be the Islanders and the Lightning. You'd have the Capitals out. Only one team from the Metro and one from the Atlantic. I know this is all real nitpicky stuff. We're still really early in the season. I guess you can still say that. At what point can you not say it's early in the year? Because we are close to halfway. It feels like we just started talking about the NHL season, but we are right there. It is almost halfway, as the Hurricanes have 37 games played so far on the year. We'll close things up with some NBA talk. The Hornets, man, stop me if you've heard this one before. The Hornets are bad. Ooh. 7-24. Believe it or not, at 7-24, there are still 3 teams worse than them, including the Detroit Pistons, who just got off losing 28 consecutive games. If you think that sounds bad, it's because it is. But also, the Hornets have lost 11 straight. 11. Now, it's not 28, but it is 11. And there's no going up from here. We have hit rock bottom. Well, you know what? Maybe I guess there's only go. It seems like a lot of these Carolina sportsmen, the Hurricanes are just kind of saving us right now. Because if they were bad, everybody would be bad. And we would really be sad over here on the scoreboard. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll all be good at the same time. Could you imagine that? Hornets, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, all winning at the same time. One can dream. Thanks for joining me here today. Welcome back to WSIC, I guess. It's 2024, new year. I'm going to try not to be as angry this year. That's going to be my resolution. I don't know if that's a good resolution or not for the show. I think I should try to be less angry at things, even when they don't make sense. Thanks for tuning in today. I will be here same time, same place tomorrow. You know where to find me. Until then, have a good one, everyone.